Okay, I want to be mindful of everyone's time. I am admitting residents as they're trickling in, but I want to get started. Once again, I just want to inform everyone that this meeting is being recorded um, because we want to just share with residents, some of them that can't make it tonight. And so as I shared in the beginning, the link is some of the people are having difficulties with the link. So but we'll improve the system, right? We're through this pandemic. We still haven't gotten everything figured out, but I do thank everyone for joining us today. It's our Ward 14 community meeting. For all the people joining us for the first time, welcome. These meetings take place every last Thursday of the month. We will be meeting via Zoom until further notice. Can't wait to meet in person, hopefully soon. Tonight we have a full agenda. We will allow time for questions after each presentation, or you can, add your question to the chat. Thank you to all the presenters and partners that are joining us today. Today we're going to hear from Rodney Lewallen, who is a resident and ambassador for the Community Master Plan. We have Second District Lieutenant Betley here. I don't know if we have anyone from First District. If so, let me know who'll be taking safety concerns. We have Greg Zucca from MetroHealth Hospital. Speaking of transportation, I'm sure other resources available from MetroHealth. So I'm going to start with my piece. So I will start with the community cleanup because it's our most recent event. Really excited about how the community cleanup went last weekend. I truly believe that makes a safer environment. We really focused on the alleys. Illegal dumping in alleys, have been a huge challenge. I have the most alleys in comparison to any other ward. I have 52 alleys. So we're working very hard to tackle the cleanup and brighten the area. I do want to mention thank you, Metro Health and Community Housing Solution, for sponsoring the cleanup. We partner with Building Hope in the City, Metro West, Tremont West. We had about 100 volunteers come together, and we were able to collect about 4,000 pounds of garbage. So thank you for all who came out Saturday to help us clean. We're going to continue keeping the momentum going. We do have another cleanup scheduled for May 15th and another one in June 12th. So I will definitely, please, if you have access to Facebook or internet, if you could like the Ward 14 J.Santana Council page, we put a lot of information on there. So, it'll keep you updated. So going back to the alleys, we are working with the electric companies to increase lighting in alleys. We are doing cleanups. It is the responsibility of homeowners to clean their alleyway. But we also recognize there's a lot of vacant houses. And while they're getting cited for not cleaning their area or not taking care of their home, volunteers are just basically gathering to help clean up these alleyways. We know it keeps squatters out and it just makes it safer for our children. If you do see illegal dumping, please, whatever you see, if you could take pictures, whatever you could do to contribute to to identify someone who's dumping, please do so and help us out. I know it's very hard for you to see into the alleys, it's the back way, but Crime Stoppers will actually pay $2,500 for any information leading to an arrest or an indictment of any suspected illegal dumper. Okay, so the number is 216-252-7463, and I will actually put that on our chat, so you have the information with that. Housing, please continue to call our office to report abandoned or or homes with garbage. Properties are being cited by the city. We have cited over 160 properties since 2020, and housing court is open again. So things are moving along. Of course, they have a backlog. So I ask you to please be patient. but continue calling our office to report those nuisance homes. If it's a senior citizen and, they have limited resources, but it's owner occupied, we do have resources through our office, through Cleveland Housing Solution and Cleveland Aging Department. So please call our office if you know of a senior citizen that is in need of repairs for their home. It's based on eligibility. But definitely try it. I tell everyone to call. You know what's going to happen or what could happen. We've been able to repair maybe about 12 homes this year, so we're excited about that. Roofs, gutters, porches. So if you know someone, a senior citizen who doesn't have the means to renovate their home, repair, or do any repairs, have them call our office or Metro West. Also, another complaint that we're getting, it's summer, it's starting, right? It's the loud music, cars in vacant lots. Please call our non-emergency safety department, which is 216-621-1234. With that, also community dumpsters. Once again, back to the cleanup. We've been doing this for 3 years now. Put dumpsters throughout the neighborhood so that families, could dump and clean out their home. And this is for residents, no commercial dumping. The first one is May 8th, and it's going to be off 40th and Store Avenue. The next one, May 22nd, it's going to be at Lincoln West. So these are provided for residents, and it's free. And then last but not least, vaccines. We have 2 pods coming to the neighborhood. One, Thomas Jefferson on May 6th, 11 to 6 p.m. The other one's Lincoln West, May 7th, from 11 to 6 for students, parents, and community members ages 16 and up. Walk-ins are accepted, and you could call 664-2222 to make an appointment or pre-register, but walk-ins are available. And I know I said last but not least, but I do have one more thing to add. Our Clark Fulton Masterplan is winding down. 100 of folks have worked hard to create a current collection of residents, ideas, and feedback. But there's still time to give your input. There's one more community session that's coming soon, May 2nd, from 4:50 to 6. I've participated, and I will tell you, very engaging, great conversations. So I ask you to join May 2nd, participate in these conversations with ambassadors. More to talk about that is Rodney Lewallen, who's on the call, and then I think Greg Zucca also will be discussing the master plan. So I'm going to turn it over to Rodney.
Thank you, Jasmine. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rodney Lewallen. I'm a resident in the Clark Fulton area, as well as the president of the Jones Home Neighborhood Association, and also a Clark Fulton Together ambassador, part of the Fab 5 team, if any of you have ever heard of it before. I'm just going to give you a very brief update. So our third community expression series out of 4 is going to be this Sunday, May 2nd, 2021, from 4 o'clock to 5:30. We're going to be focusing on topics related to development in the area and how it affects residents, either with gentrification, displacement, or aging in place issues. So the topics will be aging in place. That's going to the subtopic for that is going to be about isolation, and the will be inclusion, and the subtopic will be good neighbors. The third conversation is going to be about displacement, and the subtopic will be children's health and education regarding to displacement. Now, the fourth expression series will also be held. It's going to be a hybrid event, and it's going to be held May 23rd, and I believe it's going to be held at the Hildebrandt building, and that will also be in the afternoon on a Sunday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. And what I mean by a hybrid event is that it's going to be broadcast on Zoom and also held in person. And these are going to be breakout sessions that are going to be brainstorming the conversations that we've already talked about before, the ideas that came up in the discussions previously. We're going to whittle them down into solutions moving forward, and that are going to be added to the master plan. And the master plan will also be launched on the week of June 9th through the 13th. And so that will be upcoming, and Greg might have more information about that, so I'll leave that for him. And in the chat, I'm going to add the Community Expression Series link. If you go to Metro West Clee at eventbrite.com, or you can sign up there, and we're going to have a Zoom link in the next few days also that I can also send out to you. If you have any questions, you want to reach out to me, you can do so. My telephone number in the hand side. And I just want to thank everybody for giving me this opportunity, and thank you.
Thank you, Rodney. I know that you were your internet was coming in and out. So if anyone missed some information you want to put in the chat, or if you have any questions, feel free to do so now regarding the master plan, or we could wait till Greg Zucca presents, and then we could take questions after that. All right. So go ahead, Greg.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Councilwoman, for the invitation to come and speak with everyone tonight. It's really an honor to be able to talk with everybody and give some updates. So I'm going to cover a couple different things really quickly, very, very high level, because I'm not on the clinical side of MetroHealth, but just a quick couple points on COVID. Talk about status of the main campus construction, update on our community development building project, and then mostly focus on our neighborhood master planning initiative that we're doing in cooperation with the Councilwoman's office, Metro West, and the city. So just really quickly on COVID, I mean, as you all know, from reading the newspaper or stories that you've heard on the radio or TV, rates are coming down, deaths are coming down, hospitalizations are coming down. So everything really is moving in the right direction. From MetroHealth's perspective, we went from a point in time where we were recording. We were recording approximately 200 positives tests per day to now 10 to 20 per day. So that the positivity rate has come down dramatically, and that is really due to everybody's adhering to social distancing and mask wearing, but also getting the vaccine. So just, really, we really emphasize to everyone, if you have an opportunity to get the vaccine, please do so. I think the Councilwoman made an announcement of some community vaccination efforts in the neighborhood coming later on this month. One that I do want to make sure everybody's aware of, I know this is kind of late notice, but we are having a community-wide vaccination at the main campus this Saturday. I will send the Councilwoman information on that effort. It will be at the main campus. There will be free parking provided. If you do want to call and schedule, you may call this number, and we'll put it in the chat as well. The number is 216-778-6100. So the vaccinations will be occurring this Saturday from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Again, there will be free parking, and I will provide information in the chat as well as to the Councilwoman so that we can get that out. Update on the main campus, construction of the new hospital. It's continuing to progress. We are almost completely done with the exterior facade of the new hospital tower. That should be wrapping up in the next week or two. Work continues on the interior of the hospital. We currently have on site about 450 workers that are doing various, plumbing, electrical, HVAC. We even have drywall and some painting occurring. So it's still moving very, very rapidly. We're still on schedule to have the new hospital tower open in October of 22, so next year. So we are more than halfway through the construction process for the new hospital tower. In addition to the hospital tower, we're going to be making, enhancements around the campus for traffic and vehicles and both employees, but also patients. One of the main things, and I've talked with the councilwoman about this, and we'll be putting together a separate meeting to kind of discuss this a bit, but we'll be putting in some new entryways as the hospital is moving, towards the south of the campus. So that the current towers right now are on MetroHealth Drive, close to Valentine, with the new hospital tower opening up and moving towards the southern end of the campus, closer to I-71 and West 25th Street. We'll be redesigning some of the streets that enter onto the campus to increase, to help to alleviate a lot of the traffic congestion that occurs on West 25th Street, to make it more efficient for both employees and ambulances and deliveries. And again, what this is going to do is it will take a lot of the traffic off of West 25th Street and enter it onto the campus via View Road. But again, a lot of this work, while it's a lot of investment on the main campus, it's really about transforming the way that we provide care, not only in the hospital offices and the doctor's office, but also how we're trying to transform the way that we deliver care throughout the community. Many of you know about the Institute for Hope that we created to really look at these non-clinical factors that impact health. A lot of the work that they've been doing, one project that they've been working very heavily on is trying to increase internet connectivity, in particular focusing on the Clark Fulton neighborhood. They're also working very closely with CMHA to make sure that Scranton Castle, which is on Castle and Scranton Road, that particular building is well connected for the residents that live in there. And this is not only an issue for, this is also a health issue too, because as we do more and more telemedicine, connectivity to internet is very, very critically important. But in addition to that, we also are doing a lot of work around housing and neighborhood placemaking. And as you may know, and I've talked in meetings in the past, we're in the midst of building a 72-unit affordable housing project on our main campus. It's being built on a former parking lot on the corner of MetroHealth Drive and West 25th Street. Construction began in February. They've just completed laying the foundations and starting to, or laying the footers and starting to put in the foundation of the building. In the next week or two, they will start to pour the concrete pads for the building, and beginning in late May, early June, they will start to do some of the framing work of the new building. So it's moving very rapidly, which is great, and it is expected to be open in June of next year, June of 22. Again, this will have 72 units of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. We'll provide more information once we start to look at taking applications for people that might be interested in it. We're working on putting up a project website right now, working with our partner, the NRP group. And when that is available, I will provide that to the councilwoman so that we can get it out to the community. But in addition to the 72 units, we also have a 5,000 square foot workforce development center. And that will be providing programming that we're doing in partnership with Cuyahoga Community College to provide not only college credit courses, but also certification courses that would be required to enter into certain positions in the medical field. But I think the main thing I really wanted to focus on tonight is an update on the neighborhood master plan. Many of you may have been involved. I hope so. Obviously, it was presented some difficulties in trying to do a neighborhood master plan during COVID. It was difficult to try to, schedule Zoom calls and try to get community input. The consultants did, I think, their best in trying to get the word out. But right now we're not done yet, but we're in the stage where we'll be the consultants will be presenting some of their findings and some of their recommendations. And I think Rodney had alluded to it. They're going to plan to have an open house and some virtual meetings the week of June 7th. And then that weekend of June 7th, there will actually be a physical open house. It will be outdoors, socially distant. We did this in November, and we had a fairly good turnout of about over 100 residents and people that attended. And this will be an opportunity where you can provide input and feedback on some of the findings and the recommendations from the consultants. And then we'll take all of that input, gather more inputs, and the plan is that this master plan, the draft will wrap up in September of this year, and will be presented to the city for certification. It's been a great process. It's very comprehensive, looking at housing, transportation, economic development, small business development, looking at access to green space, access to food. So it's really, really comprehensive. And the one thing that I think is kind of unique and innovative about this is you have not only the local community development corporation, Metro West, but you also have the councilwoman's office, the city of Cleveland, MetroHealth, an anchor institution, as well as philanthropy represented by the Cleveland Foundation. So you have a cross-sector group of institutions and organizations coming together. But most importantly, we have the Fab Five. So we worked as part of this process to identify a group of residents that would be interested in being kind of ambassadors and helping to gather feedback and input. Rodney and his team have done a masterful job of initiating their own process for gaining input and feedback. Again, COVID has presented a lot of challenges, but I think they've done a remarkable job and really have done a great job in trying to seek out input. And even when this master plan report is done, that doesn't mean we're done taking feedback and input. It's really just the beginning. So it's going to be an ongoing process, and that's really what is going to be so critically important. So even if, let's say you're busy the week of June 7th, that's not the last time or the only time that you'll be able to provide input. There are so many outlets that you can provide feedback, whether it's through the councilwoman's office or contacting me or working with the community ambassadors. There will be plenty of opportunities. And again, hopefully as some of the restrictions from COVID begin to loosen up, we will be able to have more face-to-face meetings that I think would be a lot more conducive to input and feedback. So with that, and one of the other things too about the master plan too is it's also including a plan for the future community park, which will take the place of the current outpatient pavilion on the MetroHealth campus. So eventually the outpatient pavilion that sits on West 25th, between West 25th and Scranton Road, that will eventually be demolished, and in its place will be a community park. And so this master plan will also provide a plan for that as well. And so I think with that, again, just keep open your schedules for week of June 7th. And I'll turn it back to you, Councilwoman.
Thank you, Greg. And so I have two questions for you here, but I do want to add with the community plan is that it's not just for the Clark Fulton neighborhood. That's the beginning of it. And I know that we've had this discussion early on, trying to leverage, right, all the investment that MetroHealth was doing and other investors, but this will ripple into Stockyard, Brooklyn, Center, Tremont area. So we want input from the whole neighborhood, from the ward, and ambassadors do reside throughout the neighborhood. They don't just reside in the Clark Fulton neighborhood. So I just want to emphasize that, as maybe some residents think that we're only focusing in the Clark Fulton neighborhood. And once you said it's a beginning, community engagement is a long process, right? It's not a year process. Community engagement, that's my background. It takes years to engage residents and really come up with a robust, healthy master plan. So I encourage anyone that lives outside of the Clark Fulton to please join these meetings and give your input. The question that I have for you from a resident is, let me see if I can find it. Okay, how will the new building affect the RTA route?
So we're working very closely with RTA. It just so happens that while we're doing this neighborhood master plan, RTA is also doing a planning effort. RTA's plan is to eventually have what they call a bus rapid transit line down West 25th Street. So they're in the midst of planning that right now. So our goal is to make and increase the transit friendliness of the main campus as we continue. So as we plan for the park, as we're planning for the new buildings, we're being very intentional and working very closely with RTA to not only talk about where bus stops should be potentially relocated because the hospital building is being relocated in a sense. So we're working very closely with them to make sure that, again, everything is very transit friendly.
Thank you, Greg. And the next one, will the planned community trail skirting the new building to the towpath be constructed to open along with the building?
So our intention is, yes, that we are working with community-wide partners about having a towpath connector trail through the campus. As these pieces and parts are going through many steps and phases, we don't know yet where it will, go through the campus, but we want it to enter in and go through the campus and then eventually connect to the towpath connector trail, which, picks up on West 14th Street. So where those entry points are going to be, we don't know just yet, but it is our intention that it will connect to that trail system.
Thank you, Greg. Any other questions regarding anything that Greg discussed or Rodney? Once again, you can put it in the chat. And while maybe they're coming up with questions, if they have some, I noticed that there's some MetroHealth staff here. Just kind of wanted to give an opportunity. I've never met Mr. Miller, but if you want to say hi or introduce yourself and your role, and then I know Julie Nation has been on, but.
Oh yeah, thank you for giving us an opportunity to be on the program. Greg does an outstanding job of sharing information, and I'm new to the organization, so I'm taking Julie's lead on doing the right things. And anything we can do to help, just let us know. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you, Stanley, and I look forward to meeting you in person soon.
Yes, ma'am.
And Julie Nation's on. Love working with her. Julie, I don't know if you wanted to mention anything.
Hello. I just posted information about our upcoming virtual job fair. Everybody should check that out. And we always want to make sure that folks know that they're checking our COVID-19 vaccination page, because things are added at a really rapid basis, both new things that are added and clinics that fill up quickly. We're also going to be adding some more Spanish resources. I can't spill the beans on anything yet, but it's going to be great. We're working on a speaker series and on really getting into the community to make sure that we're answering questions about the vaccine clinics in Spanish. So we'll be talking more about that soon.
All right, thank you, Julie. And I did get that website. Great timing. We're actually working on a job fair as well. So stay tuned for upcoming news, but we definitely would partner with you with this MetroHealth virtual job fair. Seems pretty interesting. Never attended a job fair virtually, but hey, innovative thinking. So I think the next one is finally we're at safety and we have Lieutenant Betley here. I do want to add that we have started a new event, which is grab a cup of coffee with council and policemen. Our first one ended up being Good Friday, but we did have some residents here. We had policemen answering safety questions. And you know what? Amazingly, within a week, police officers were getting responses to the residents, things were being handled. So we decided to do this event to give opportunity to residents that maybe are not available in the evening to join the community meetings, but are available from 11 to 1. So every first Friday of the month from 11 to 1 at the ward office, which is 3167 Fulton Avenue, and I'll put that on the chat. We're here having coffee, having a dialogue around safety and community concerns with police officers. So I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant Betley. If residents have any questions, put it on the chat once again. And Lieutenant Betley, one of the things that some of the residents weren't able to get on today are asking is ATVs, right? Summer's starting. We're already hearing about the ATVs. And just any information that you have about that or that you could share with resident, we would really appreciate that.
All right. Thank you, Councilman, for having me tonight, and good evening, everybody. I'm Lieutenant Betley. I'm the administrative lieutenant for the 2nd District, and I'm on this meeting on behalf of Commander Stocco. Just to update you a couple things, and it might alleviate some of the questions on it. We'll start with the dirt bikes. I got a couple things to cover, but we'll start with that just to cancel out, I believe, some of the questions with it. So just to give you basically what I have on it and what we're doing, I'll start with first of all, which a lot of you know, our policy in regards to this dirt bike situation, which, obviously is contained within what would be pursuit of them. We got a highly restrictive policy. So as you guys know, we're handcuffed there. But what we are doing to get in front of it is we have coordination with other resources, one of them being the Metro Parks Police, because they're having issues down there off of West 14th. And basically what we're trying to do is get in front of it with them and our own Bureau of Traffic. And what the main goal in this is to identify, obviously, the players, but the main thing is to get a location where these bikes are going, or ATVs, what residences they're going into, where they're parking. For the most part, they're going to be stolen. So the main thing is to confiscate it, get the property taken away. Now, 2 of the main players that are dragging up here on Fulton every day, we have them identified. So, I'm being told that they're very confident that pretty soon we're going to be able to do something with them too to take them out of the equation. But as you guys know, this is a huge problem. So, we're trying to, the main thing is to identify where these groups of bikes are going and then intervene on it, because most of the time it is stolen vehicles that we're dealing with. Because if we engage it, which the patrolmen often do, but the supervisors have to call off the pursuit due to our restrictive policy. So I attended a meeting with the Metro Parks Police, and they're very active in this. So they're gathering all their facts, their info that they have, along with our Bureau of Traffic, along with our Detective Bureau and our Major Crimes Unit that investigates this. So it's a big city problem right now. So we're trying to do what we can with it. Eventually, hopefully with the weather and everything breaking, we'll be able to also get the chopper up. I don't know what the schedule is with that, but that would be helpful too, just to get locations on where the final rest of these ATVs and dirt bikes are. And we can go back to this. I just want to cover some bullet points really quick on other issues that went on, unless you want me to stop on each of them. Councilwoman, how do you want to run it?
Go ahead. If there's
Okay.
any questions, I will let you know. There's one question really quick before you go into get into your bullet points about police. Do they do help with resident conflict, like mediation? That's one of the questions in the chat. That's what I have for you so far.
So just real crystal clear on this, Councilwoman. You mean like a neighbor trouble type thing? Is that what you're leaning? Like if two neighbors have like a dispute and who like intervenes on that?
Correct.
Okay. So what the process usually is on that is Michael McDonald, who I'm sure you know, Councilwoman. He's at our main meeting, and I'm drawing a little bit of a blank on what department he works at in City Hall. I think it's community relations, but he basically, when there's an issue like that gets to a level that's at a high level that there has to be some intervention, he usually gets behind it, gathers some info up. He contacts our community services unit, our Lieutenant Stephen Beckner, who represents that unit, and basically he'll go to the resident with an officer and try to mediate between the both of them. So it's Michael McDonald, and if you don't know him, Councilwoman, I'll send you an email with all his particulars so you could use him as a resource.
Yeah, we have his information. So
Okay.
We just didn't know if the police, in addition to Michael McDonald, addressed resident conflicts.
In the way it works, Councilwoman, I believe, don't quote me because I don't have Mike's ear a lot or talk to him a lot, but I believe it's a case by case situation to where if he feels that it's risen to the level that he needs a police presence, then he makes the contact. If it's something that he firmly believes or know the players at hand that he could mediate this, then I think he might go it alone. But like I said, don't quote me on that last aspect. Moving on, couple locations that were basically tackled by our vice unit, that some good things were done because they were some nuisance areas. First one we'll start off on is 6125 Denison. It was basically an operator there that was operating a bar without a permit. So we basically went in, got a search warrant, all the liquor was confiscated, and the location was closed down. There's currently a warrant for this individual's arrest. It's a female, and she hasn't went to court or anything, so there's a warrant for arrest. But the good thing is it was a nuisance location, and there was a lot of activity going on there with residents, whether it was parking, whether it was fighting, whether it was loud music at night. So we were getting many complaints, and we're able to close that location down. So that's just an update on that. On the same lines, on that, we had another location, and it's outside of the ward, so to speak, kind of, I believe, on your border, Councilwoman, but I wanted to bring it up. 7216 Clark was another issue of like a bar area that was like totally out of control. So we got a search warrant there and went in there with SWAT, and I mean a lot of things were recovered: a gun, an ounce of crack, 15 ounces of marijuana, 90 bottles of liquor. Just the whole place was closed down. A lot of evidence seized. 4 arrests were made. So that was a location, 7216 Clark, like a lot of complaints, and I believe there was even like a shooting outside of it one night. So those are 2 locations that our vice unit got in front of with complaints from the neighborhood, and we were able to successfully shut both of them down. The last thing is on our end, there were promotions. There were 3 commanders recently made, a traffic commissioner made, and a new deputy chief. And most of our resources, as you guys know, are attending the NFL draft detail right now as we speak. But I'll entertain any questions. Hopefully I covered the ATV thing enough. it's going to be, we're just getting rolling with it. I know it's a big nuisance, and believe me, we're not going to let it go. It's just a matter of what we can do to tackle it and how we can possibly tackle it. So we're attending meetings, and we're working with other agencies, and we're trying to get a handle on it as best we can.
Got it. And you know what, Lieutenant Bentley, I would add that also a bar on 6215 Denison, I think that's the address. It also has been shut down. There was after hour activity. They didn't have no liquor license, staying out till 4 or 5 in the morning. There was some shootings there. So it has officially been closed. So
yeah, that was the one, Councilwoman. So I must have mispronounced the numbers on it. So that was the first one I was talking about, I believe.
Okay, so yeah. I am totally aware. So thank you for that. Does anyone have any questions for Lieutenant Bentley regarding safety? I know someone asked about the 311 reporting, so residents can alert CPD to nuisance homes. So I don't know, Lieutenant Bentley, if you know about 311. When will the city activate 311 reporting so residents can alert CPD to nuisance houses, including houses with dirt bikes? Are you aware of? I know that today my staff had a training with 311, city 311 reporting. The software has been updated. However, I have not had a chance to discuss with my staff on, what are the new improvements, but wasn't sure, Lieutenant Bentley, if there's any partnership with the city 311 and CPD.
For something like that, I got to tell you, I'm unclear to give a totally direct answer. But what I could do, Councilwoman, is tomorrow I'll make a contact down to our communications operations commander and just see what the answer is on it, and then I'll convey it to you or Miranda in an email so you could get it out to the residents. So it's 311 reporting of crime incidents or nuisances. How did you label this?
Yes, so it's 311 reporting, so residents can alert CPD to nuisance houses, including dirt bikes. So I think is what they're saying. Yeah, you call 311 and it reports it also to CPD.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll check.
I mean, for all these things, unless I'm off on this, I mean, like that 621-1234, all of it's gonna, I would think, go to the same. I mean, even if they called 911, it's all gonna go to the same location, and we're gonna get units out to look at whatever the issue is. It's gonna be a call for service. So, I could be wrong on this, but I just think call your, the 621-1234 or 911 on it. If it's something that needs, a car dispatched.
Got it.
But I'll make sure of it. I'll make sure of it with communications.
Can you please add to your list as well surveillance on Brooklyn Plaza and Brooklyn Center? Summer activity includes drug traffic and panhandlers, but also around West 39th off of Denison, there's a convenience store there. There's an alley behind there, also increased drug activity. And I could follow up with, with those two complaints.
Okay, I'm going to hand it off to the CSU lieutenant, and we'll get some eyes on it. Eventually, if it's a vice issue, then it'll escalate up to them. But we'll get some eyes on how it looks on both of these.
And another thing, and I have heard this too. So the cutting of catalytic converters off of people's cars through 2nd District. I'm sure you've heard about it. My office has received many calls about it. Any report on that?
I don't. I know that I've had numerous emails. I'm not in front of my computer right now. I want to say from Christopher Brown on it, but Officer Nan and Officer Thompson, who do a lot of the crime, they're basically our crime car in the 2nd District. I will confer with them about it, and once again, I'll send you an email, you and Miranda, tomorrow on an update on it, where we're at with it.
Okay. And then last, the police academy. When is the deadline? Do you know the deadline to apply?
I know that we're putting in, and that ain't the answer to your question, we're putting in 2 more classes. I'm hearing everything should be on the city website as far as recruitment and as far as when these tests are and when the process is. right off the city website. Everything should be answered.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for your service.
You got it.
Yeah, that's the only questions that I have on our chat. It is 6:58, so we made it on time. Any residents have any additional questions for myself, for Rodney regarding the community plan, for Greg regarding MetroHealth? No? Anyone has an announcement they want to share? I think I hear Scott. No? All right. Well, once again, thank you for your time, for joining us today. I'll see you next month. And if you missed something, please email me or call the office, and we will make sure to get you any information that you need. Thank you for your time. Thank you to the partners and our speakers today. Have a great day.